Regularly scheduled programs will not be seen this afternoon so that we may bring you the following special color program.
At the conclusion of the third round of this year's United States Open Golf Championship, an awesome group of golfers led the competition. This is Arnold Palmer, the greatest name in contemporary golf, who was one stroke off the lead. Also one stroke off the pace was Jack Nicklaus, winner of the United States Open Championship and a golfer of tremendous ability. Tied with Palmer and Nicklaus was consistent Billy Casper, who defeated Arnold Palmer in a dramatic playoff in this tournament a year ago. One stroke ahead of the big three of golf was this young man, Marty Fleckman, who achieved the incredible by becoming the first amateur to lead this tournament after the third round since Johnny Goodman in 1933. ABC Sports proudly presents exclusive coverage of the concluding round of this, the most prestigious tournament in all of golf. The 67th United States Open Championship. This is the clubhouse at historic Baltusrol Golf Club in Springfield, New Jersey. This course, named after the old Dutch farmer Baltusrol, who owned the land in this area in the 19th century, has now hosted 5 United States Open Golf Championships and is truly acknowledged as one of the world's greatest tests of golfing ability. ABC's exclusive color coverage of the United States Open Championship is brought to you by your Mercury dealer, home of the better idea cars like the new Mercury Cougar, Car of the Year. By Goodyear. This year, as in every year, for 50 consecutive years, more people ride on Goodyear tires than on any other kind. And by Humble Oil and Refining Company and the Tiger team at your happy motoring station, where the Tiger has an extra punch. As we look up the 18th fairway, supered over it is this fact that Jack Nicklaus, with a tremendous front nine going out in 31, now leads Arnold Palmer and Lee Trevino by 4 shots. And Marty Fleckman is 3 over, trailing by 6 shots on Jack Nicklaus. Marty started out badly, the amateur that led after the third round, but Jack Nicklaus is having a round like he had here on a practice day earlier in the week. The 1967 United States Open Golf Championship from Baltusrol Golf Club continues in just a moment. The United States Open is one of 9 championships conducted by the United States Golf Association, the governing body of golf. The 9 championships cover all levels of golf, from junior girls and boys, public links players and seniors, to the class of golfer you are watching today. Prize money for professional golfers began with the first Open Championship of the United States Golf Association back in 1895. The winner, incidentally, was a 19-year-old youngster named Horace Rawlings, and he won in Newport, Rhode Island, receiving $150, a medal that was valued at $50. There's quite a comparison, as this year, the winner will get $30,000, the man that finishes second will get $15,000. When Byron Nelson won in 1939, the paycheck for the winner was something like $6,000. Things have changed. Byron hasn't. He's still the lovely guy and the great golfer and expert, and we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you very much, Chris. This is really being an exciting tournament all the way through, and Jack Nicklaus is certainly creating more excitement today than what we've had all the tournament, excepting possibly with the exception of the great play of Marty Fleckman.
Byron, he has, with 2 birdies on 17 and 18 yesterday afternoon, and now having played through 9 today, he has birdied 7 of the last 11 holes that he has played here at one of the stern tests of golf at Baltusrol.
Yes, this course is really great. It's about 7,000 yards long. The players say it's the fairest test of golf that they've seen. The greens are great. The fairways are 30 to 40 yards wide. And the whole of the tournament, everything has just been going great.
All 18 holes are great. One that is particularly the favorite of many the world over is the 4th hole here, 194 yards long, a par 3. And fortunately, with our great color camera complement that we have here, largest ever in the history of television, we can show you play on the 4th hole earlier today of the Big 4, amateur Marty Fleckman and, of course, Casper, Nicklaus, and Palmer. This is Jack Nicklaus and Byron today. They were using the back tee area.
Yes, it was 194 yards long. The tees at the back, the pins in the back center of the green. 194 yards. I'm sure that Nicklaus probably went at this hole today with probably a 4-iron as strong as he's hitting the ball today.
The fourth hole is over water. It is closely guarded by beautiful traps, and today the traps are closely guarded by thousands of spectators. There's the shot.
You can watch, you can see where this ball lands. This is the hole that started him hot today. There it is, only about 5 feet from the hole, 194 yards over this water. A magnificent hole with a great gallery in the background, including 3 traps.
That was one of the shots, pinpoint accuracy to the fourth green, an elevated green after water, and 194 yards away, that started him in his rolling on, a 4-stroke advantage as we came on the air. Now Arnold Palmer, who was tied for second with Casper and Nicklaus, with 4th round play getting underway.
And watch what beautiful action that he puts on this ball here. You see it on the green just a little bit to the left of the hole, about 18 feet away, putting right straight up the hill. Nicklaus has put his on about 5 feet. There is a beautiful picture to see of this great 4th hole.
Nicklaus and Palmer at this moment have just completed the 10th hole, and Nicklaus has bogeyed it, so he now leads Palmer by 3 shots. Palmer's putt for a birdie 2 earlier on the 4th hole.
Palmer is really wanting these, needing a putt at this point. He's played beautifully, but has not been able to hold many of these putts in this championship, and this is no exception. He goes by a little bit. The hole doesn't show there, but he's skidded past the hole a little bit.
The very same 2 men that when Jack Nicklaus won the Open Championship in 1962, he won it by defeating Arnold Palmer in a playoff.
Yes, that was a great playoff at Oakmont in Pennsylvania. A very great golf course, and 2, of course, of the all-time great players.
Very little wind here today. It is hot and humid. It is overcast, some threat of showers.
Now, you know, it's Arnie taking the practice putt here. He has this putt for a par 3, keeping the putter real smooth and real low to the ground. In 3, starting all first 4 holes, all pars. Now this is Nicklaus' putt for a birdie 2. It will start him on the surge, in which he is still doing at this moment.
Made it look very easy.
It looks easy when they go in that way, Chris.
And the fact that he's using a metal putter, a rocker putter painted white, will cause most everybody watching our telecast to immediately start painting their putters white.
Yes. This is the next group now playing immediately behind. Here's Billy Casper on the 4th tee, defending champion. He hooks the ball into the trap, left of the green. Billy was playing absolute super golf yesterday up until the 15th hole, and then he said he lost his concentration. Another great picture of this hole, and he finished in 3 bogeys in the last 4 holes, which is rather an unusual thing for Billy to do because he's one of the steadiest players on the tour.
And at the moment, he is trailing the leader, Jack Nicklaus, by 4 strokes, Byron.
Yes, that is a big lead for Jack. Now you see Marty Fleckman getting ready to play to the 4th green.
Of course, this happened a little earlier as Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer are playing the 11th hole. Billy Casper is out there, all the contenders, and when they come into our camera range at the 13th hole, we'll be bringing you all the action live and in color. And later, the folks in Great Britain will have an opportunity to see our telecast live and in color on the satellite, and a delayed telecast to Japan.
Yes, he hooks this ball. Watch the people move. He hooks the ball back into the crowd, over the trees, and into the crowd. He started off very shaky today, but it's a difficult job to lead this championship for a man who's never even played any before. This is the 2nd round that he has led this tournament.
And, of course, having led after 54 holes, made him the first amateur to have accomplished that since Johnny Goodman did it in 1933.
It's an odd thing that the last Now look at this shot. He has to place it down over this high bank. Pin cut very close to him. The pin is very close to that back edge of the green. He's under the tree. But as you see, he played it very beautifully. Left the ball, as you can see, about 12 feet from the hole. Very well executed and played shot.
Marty Fleckman, 54-hole leader, starting out shaky today. He did 2 of the previous 3 rounds.
Billy Casper, you see, playing out of the sand trap, stopped the ball very quickly. His bunker play here has been exceptionally good, though. He likes this sand. Some of the boys said it's a little very light, and the ball comes out fast. But Casper has played the ball very, very well.
And he, like the other 66 or 65 players today, have raved considerably about Baltusrol. Split screen, you see Fleckman on the left, and on the right, Jack Nicklaus at 5, Fleckman at 3.
Fleckman need this for par. As you saw, he got it. That set him down considerably. Now then you see Nicklaus putting here for a birdie on the 5th hole now. This will be the 2nd birdie in a row for Nicklaus. There he goes.
Birdies at 3, 4, and 5 for Jack Nicklaus, and 7 in the last 12 holes, counting yesterday's 2 finishing holes at 17 and 18. Now Billy Casper.
You know, when birdies start coming, they come in bunches, Chris. So Casper missed his putt and giving him a bogey 4 on the 4th hole.
A little earlier, Ben Hogan finished 72 holes of play. He is in at 12 over par with a round today of 72. From Baltusrol Golf Club here in Springfield, New Jersey, the 67th United States Open continues after this message.
We're back at the United States Open at the Baltusrol Golf Club in Springfield, New Jersey, and this is action now on the 11th hole. You are seeing, as I believe Chris mentioned earlier, more action than we or anybody else has ever been able to show you in a major golf championship because of the tremendous number of color cameras we have around the course. Now, Arnold Palmer has put a shot in the rough, I believe, on the 11th hole there. There you see the leaders. Jack Nicklaus -2 now. Arnold Palmer 3 shots back at +1. Then we have Lee Trevino, Don January, and Bill Casper. And just a moment ago, we saw Dean Beeman get a birdie at the 13th. He has moved into a tie with Arnold Palmer. This is the 11th green. Jack Nicklaus wearing the eye shade that he has adopted in recent months. Arnold Palmer, bareheaded as usual. I walked in this gallery for a while earlier today, by the way, and I've been in a lot of Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus's galleries. I've never seen one with the tremendous enthusiasm and vitality to it that this one has. The usual signs of Arnie's Army and such other things as Hillside for Arnie and Dayton for Arnie. But this is Jack Nicklaus, the man leading the championship, and what golf he's been playing today. Lost a shot on the last hole, so he's 2 under for the championship and 2 under on today's round. Nicklaus surveying his putt for the birdie. And in that tremendous gallery, I think the cutest line I heard was a young lady about 18 years old with her boyfriend. She looked around and listened to them yelling, "Go, Arnie," and she said, "Doesn't Jack have an army?" Deliberate, as always, but playing at good speed today, Jack Nicklaus. The big, long putt. You saw it did not fall. And Byron, this could really develop into something yet, huh?
Yes, I'm telling you, last year we thought a lot of things were going to happen, and sure enough they did. The last 9 holes at the Open last year.
That's right. Well, Jack Nicklaus has his par on the 11th hole, and now Arnold Palmer. Last year we sure did see it, with Arnold Palmer leading by 7 with 9 holes to go, ended up in the famous tie with Bill Casper, and of course lost the playoff the next day. Arnold at +1 now, 3 shots behind Jack Nicklaus. The threat of rain becoming a little more possible all the time. It's quite dark and overcast and damp. And there is Arnold Palmer's birdie on the 11th hole. He has moved 1 shot closer to Jack Nicklaus. The lead is now down to 2. Just about 5 minutes ago, it was 4 shots, and that's the way things happen in this exciting game of tournament golf. Jack Nicklaus -2, Arnold Palmer even, and Dean Beman +1, and here he is right now on the 14th fairway, just off the 14th fairway, hitting his approach shot on this par 4, 392-yard hole. And it looks like Dean has found sand. So trouble for the man in 3rd place right now. There's more of the colorful excitement to come in the 1967 U.S. Open Golf Championship in just a moment. We're back again at the U.S. Open, Baldwin Golf Club, Springfield, New Jersey. There are the leaders. Arnold Palmer, we are informed, did not get a birdie. That long putt was for a par he had to make on the 11th hole, so he still trails Jack Nicklaus by 3. So does Dean Beman, who is on the 14th hole right now. Then you see Don January, Billy Casper, and the surprising Lee Trevino, a 28-year-old club pro from El Paso, Texas, right up there with the big boys. And that is Trevino up on the 15th hole. That was his 3rd shot on the par 4, so he could pick up another bogey here unless he makes that putt. That's Lee Trevino, all dressed up in green shirt and brown pants for the final round of the U.S. Open. Last year he won $600 in total prize money. He was 15th in the Mexican Open, was his best finish. Now we're back on the 14th hole. This is Dean Beman, former amateur champion, turned pro just on April 11th, playing only his 2nd tournament as a professional. He lies 2, though. He'll have to get this close. There's the situation. And it's come up very short, Byron.
Yes, Jim, as you remember last year, unfortunately for him, at the amateur championship at Marion, his bunker play the last 2 or 3 holes was what cost him the championship.
That certainly is true, and here it could be doing it again. He'll have a big, long 40-foot putt for his par 4 on this 14th hole. Playing with Beman is Don January, who's also in contention at 2 over par. There's Don, veteran professional. He's never won any of the really big ones, but a lot of tournaments along the trail. Dean has been hitting the ball much further in this championship than ever before, and he says the reason is that last November or December he had an operation on his right hand, and he said he's been much stronger and much longer ever since then. He also says he finds a lot less pressure on him as a professional now that he's playing for money. Here's Lee Trevino now on the 15th with this important putt for a par. Nope, couldn't quite get it, and so he falls now down to 3 over. He was only 1 over 2 holes ago, but he's bogeyed the last 2 now. And he's going to take his time with this one. A bogey 5 for Lee Trevino of El Paso. Byron, you have more of your Texans on this golf tour than you could possibly count. Now 14 again. Dean Beman, a big long putt for a par 4.
That Trevino, Jim, is one of our top players in the state of Texas. Now has won the Texas PGA Championship.
And now Beman. And he's going to have another putt go to +2 for the championship if he makes this putt. That would put him 1 over on today's round. First came to prominence as a collegiate golfer at the University of Maryland. And there's the bogey 5 for Dean Beman. Puts him at +2 now in a tie with the man he's playing with, Don January, for 3rd place behind Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer. We'll be seeing them very soon. Nicklaus 2 under for the championship, and Palmer 1 over. Don January could move into a tie with Arnold Palmer for 2nd place if he could sink this putt for a bird on the 14th hole. No. Everybody seems to be trying to make sure they don't leave it short, and a lot of them are going past pretty far, Byron.
Yes, the greens are very slick today. They mowed them very close this morning. The ball is really rolling.
There's the par 4 for Don January, keeping him in a tie for 3rd place with Dean Beman. Let's move on now to the 15th tee. Reporting that hole for us, our colleague Bill Fleming.
Thank you very much, Jim. The 419-yard 15th has been the 2nd most difficult hole on the golf course. As you see, it's a straightaway shot through a sluice of trees to the target area, which is lined on both sides by huge traps. And as you can see, the fairway in there is narrowed to about 40 yards. Then, guarding an elevated green, from behind you see it, as we see it, these 2 big traps on the left and 3 on the right guard the green. Every one of these holes at Baltusrol has a significant phrase in the official program about it. This particular hole is described in the program as lovely to look at, delightful to play, and heaven if you par it. It's been played in 6/10 of a stroke over par, according to our IBM Sports Information Center during this tournament. Only the 6th hole has played harder of the 18 on this course. This is the way January and Beman have done on the 15th. Now there, the average in the field, 4.4 through the 54 holes. And January, as you can see, has that 1 bogey. It's been an interesting hole because it's been kind of a turning point. Nicklaus got a bogey here yesterday. Fleckman got a bogey here.
Shower that bunker, please. Whoa.
It's on the right side in the rough, and as you could hear Don January say, please be short of that bunker because it is very treacherous to try to play into this hole. It's a good 4-iron shot, you see, from the fairway from that distance. And now Dean Beman, who's not a particularly long player, but who has just been superb in his long iron play. Sounds from the gallery behind there as if it was a fine shot, and it is. It's rolling right down the middle of the fairway, and he will have about 175 yards carry into this beautiful elevated green. We'll be back with more of the United States Open Championship at Baltusrol Golf Club at Springfield, New Jersey. We take time out for this message. Here's a look now at the swing of Dean Beeman. Let's call in Byron Nelson. Byron, you want to comment on it?
Yes, here's Dean Beeman. I want you to watch one thing. There's been a lot of controversy and talk about keeping the left heel on the ground. You notice how much his left heel comes off because he takes such a full wind-up. You can see the position there. He's holding it right at the top of the swing. The left knee is in toward the right on his backswing. Now, from this point, watch how the left side, the left heel will come back down, the left side go through out of the way so the hands can be released at the bottom of the swing. And then, of course, from there, he moves on through, lets out the air, and he really twists and turns, following the club down the ball, down the fairway. Weight well over onto his left side.
This is the first USGA Open that he's played in as a professional. Having turned professional this year, his first professional tournament was, he won some money, was the Colonial. And he started off this Open by eagling the first hole. Here's January, whose tee shot caught the rough. He's about 185 yards from this green, and he hits what looks to be a fine shot. Good, strong player, and look at that. From the rough, in his position, it had to be a brilliant shot. He's not more than 12 feet from the pin, and as you could see, he had a great deal of backspin on it, and Byron, that in itself is quite a feat from that high rough.
It certainly is, but Don's a great player. He has a nice full arc, and he really stayed down and threw that shot.
I think we can see here, too, we said earlier about the superb iron play of Beeman. Watch him take a bead on this shot, about 170 yards in. It looks to be like about a 4-iron. It doesn't look like a particularly good shot, however. Not just a little bit off to the left, and he's got about a 25-foot putt. Jim McKay.
This is Jack Nicklaus addressing his shot, his second shot on the 13th hole. He had a tremendous, fine tee shot. He can come straight in at the flag. Arnold Palmer is in the rough, however, and has yet to hit. Big divot he took with that short iron shot, and a lovely shot. Look at that. Nicklaus now with about a 3-footer for a birdie 3 here. Now it really begins. Less than 6 holes to go. And only one of these fathers can have the happiest Father's Day of all. That check for $30,000. And there's the graphic of this hole. 392 yards long, par 4. Here is Arnold. He's about 5 feet in the rough. It's not too long. It's not too bad a lie. He has to come up over the trap. And it's a good shot, maybe a little long. On the putting surface, but long, about 20 feet for his birdie 3. And there's more of the colorful excitement to come in the 1967 U.S. Open Golf Championship in just a moment.
And as you see, as we return to beautiful Baltusrol, Jack Nicklaus has a 3-shot lead on Arnold Palmer, a 4-shot lead on Dean Beeman, Don January, and Billy Casper. 4th round play being completed. This is the 67th Open. It has always gained worldwide attention in the past 20, 30, or 40 years, and it'll get more today because via the satellite, live and in color, the people in Great Britain, in Ireland, will be seeing it live and in color. And as you remember, yesterday, we had Henry Longhurst as one of our colleagues. He today again is covering the 17th hole, and in a few moments he will be orienting his home folks all about Baltusrol, and we know you'll enjoy hearing him tell them all about it. Right now, back out to Jim McKay.
Thank you, Chris. Arnold Palmer addressing his birdie putt on the 13th hole. We said it's about a 20-footer. There have only been 3 birdies so far on this hole today. Arnold looking at it from the side. There's the huge sign in back of him, right here, Jack. So Jack Nicklaus has plenty of supporters in this gallery, too. Palmer, 3 shots down. Stood over that one a long time, didn't he? And it's short. So Arnold will have to settle for a par 4 here, and remember, Jack Nicklaus has about a 3-footer for a birdie 3 that could put him 4 shots in front, with 5 holes to play. So Palmer gets his par.
Jim,
Yes, Byron.
we were discussing yesterday, about Palmer being such a bold putter, and he hasn't been bold. He's apparently not hitting his putts the way he'd like to because he's left many of them short in this tournament so far.
Jack Nicklaus has sure put his game together at exactly the right moment, hasn't he, Byron?
Yes, he really has. He's been doing a lot of work on his game. He'd been driving badly until he came here for this championship, but he's really played beautifully here.
Well, that -2 could change to -3 if this putt goes in. Heard a little roar there. Don January picked up a bird. He's still in it. There's the birdie 3 for Jack Nicklaus. He is 3 under par for the day for the championship, and he leads Arnold Palmer by 4 shots with 5 holes to go. And now, as Chris indicated, we're going to be joined by the British Broadcasting Company live on the satellite, broadcasting to England, Wales, Scotland, and to Ireland. Gives you some idea of the tremendous interest in this tournament all around the world. Now let's go to our colleague from Britain, Henry Longhurst.
Well, now, welcome to Baltusrol, one of the oldest and most highly esteemed clubs in the whole of the United States, at 5:30 on this fine afternoon. And there's the score, look. Jack Nicklaus, 3 under, 4 ahead of Arnold Palmer and of Billy Casper, the reigning champion. They started this morning with young Marty Fleckman, whom you'll remember coming over to Sandwich for the Walker Cup and also playing at Formby in the Amateur, leading the entire field by 1 ahead of the 3 great men of golf, Casper, Palmer, and Nicklaus. And Fleckman faded away, and Nicklaus a shot ahead out in 31. There's the clubhouse of this beautiful club. And I think as you see the pictures of this course, you may well be reminded of Wentworth on a fine day when the people are all out in their shirt sleeves. This is Baltusrol's 5th Open Championship. The first was won by a Scotsman, Willie Anderson. And if you remember, in the north of England, the first Ryder Cup match to be played in England at Moortown at Leeds, you may remember Johnny Farrell. He's been professional at this club for 32 years, but we'll stop that now and go straight back. And there's Palmer, 4 behind now, Nicklaus having just got a birdie 3. 5 to play. Nicklaus 4 ahead. And that's just in the rough, but lying perfectly well. There they come, Nicklaus and Palmer paired together for the second day run. Huge crowd, naturally, following them, and this time it's Nicklaus's day. Now here's Palmer launching into it in slow motion. As popular a figure at home as he is here. Now, we'll ask Byron for comments on Palmer.
Watch how much he turns his body. Shoulders turned, facing down the fairway. Hands, left foot off the ground again, as we'd said. The left knee in toward the right, and then a very strong lead with the left side into the ball. You can see the muscles in his right arm there as he's coming down into the hitting area. The hips turn out of the way so his hands can release and get the great power that he has. You see the hands releasing just as they come in contact with the ball. Then his head does not come up until after the swing, after the club has passed that ball. What a strong swing this man has.
Over to Bill Fleming, and the 15th.
Okay, thank you very much, Henry. This is Marty Fleckman, the young man who has amazed everybody in the golf world by leading this tournament at 2 different points. At the end of the first round, he had 67. At the end of the third round, he led by a stroke. However, he is now 5 over for the tournament, but what a marvelous display of golf he's made. This is on the 13th hole. And I believe Jim McKay can probably see it up there a little better than we can.
Yes, Bill, this is the 13th hole. The twosome of Casper and Fleckman coming up here. Bill Casper tied with Arnold Palmer for second place at the moment, 1 over, the defending champion. Billy hit a fine shot. You see it off to the left of the flagstick. And now here's Arnold Palmer on the 14th hole. 14th rough, Arnold Palmer, having come up and surveyed the shot, now goes back to execute it. Many, many golfers have been in this right rough, and it isn't really that bad, is it, Byron?
No, they're staying to the right because there is a lot of trouble to the left, and if they're even in the left edge of the fairway, why, you have to play over a trap to the green. But from this right side, there's completely open shot to the green.
There you see Arnold Palmer's record in the Open in recent years, going back to 1960, which was the only time that he won it. Since then, as you know, he has lost 3 playoffs. His second shot on this par 4 hole, the 14th, trailing Jack Nicklaus by 4 shots. He must be very bold now. And there he is on the putting surface. He'll have a big long one for that birdie. Here is Don January on the 16th hole, a par 3, putting for his par and making it something that he's hanging in there. Now back on the 14th fairway again. This is Jack Nicklaus. This is the leader. The man who also has just won this championship once, and he did it in a playoff with Arnold Palmer. Again, watch the grace and power of this swing. We saw it right in this exact position yesterday. There it is. Jack does not appear to be unpleased, and he shouldn't. Birdie territory again for Jack Nicklaus, who may be watching one of the great rounds of U.S. Open golf. There you see the IBM statistics on these 2 great golfers. Drives on fairway for the tournament. Palmer has had 4 more on the fairway than has Nicklaus. However, greens in regulation, Jack has hit 2 more than Arnold has. And it shows that those beautiful, powerful, graceful second shots, as we just saw, have been doing a great job for Jack. We'll be back with more of the action here at beautiful Baltusrol Golf Club in Springfield, New Jersey, after this message. We return again to Baltusrol, the U.S. Open. Jim McKay reporting from the 14th hole. There you see the graphic of it. This par 4, where you must hit a fine tee shot to the right side of the fairway, as Byron Nelson indicated, over that trap, and then hit up to the green. Both Palmer and Nicklaus have gotten to the green. Palmer will putt first for his birdie 3, a very long one, about 40 or 45 feet. Would you say, Byron?
Yes, that is a real long putt from there. These greens are wonderful, but they have a lot, as we've stated before, little undulating mounds and roads in them that are very difficult to pick the exact line, even though you may roll it just exactly as you want to.
And here is Arnold's attempt. By the way, those of you who are watching and listening in England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, we know you're not seeing it in color, but be patient. It won't be long. The BBC will be bringing you these great events in color as well as on the satellite. The continuous putting rule in effect here, so Arnold puts out for his par 4 on the 14th hole. Now Jack Nicklaus will have his birdie attempt, and it's a much more makeable one than Arnold had. Nicklaus 3 under on today's round, 3 under for the championship. You know, he's got just an outside shot, a little bit better than that at Ben Hogan's record of 276, Byron.
Yes, I don't imagine he's thinking about that yet, but he certainly could do it the way he's going today.
Just a year ago, of course, Arnold Palmer seemed to have a new U.S. Open record wrapped up at the end of 13 holes, remember?
Yes, I remember quite well. I'm sure he would like to forget it.
If Nicklaus makes this putt, he will be, in effect, tie with Hogan's record at 4 under par. Par on this course, remember, is 70, or 280 for the 72 holes.
Remember, the last 2 holes are par 5s. Those are Jack Nicklaus's meat.
They sure are. This young man, in just his 6th year as a professional, has won everything there is to win. The Open, the Masters, the PGA, the British Open. One of only 4 players to win all of those, and there it is. A smiling Jack Nicklaus stretches his lead to 5 shots over Arnold Palmer and Bill Casper, and moves 1 shot ahead of Ben Hogan's U.S. Open record. Here at this most difficult Baldus Roll Golf Club in Springfield, New Jersey. Action on 16. Let's go to Keith Jackson.
Thank you very much, Jim McKay. This is a par 3 hole, 214 yards in total distance, though today they are playing the hole a little shorter, and we'll be carrying the ball from tee to green about 185 yards, which makes it a 5-iron shot for some, a 4-iron shot for some, and now that the air has grown quite heavy as the clouds have become thicker, and we hear in the distance the roll of thunder, so the rain clouds are in the offing, and it's become quite heavy. So we're anticipating the leaders of the tournament here on this par 3 hole. But right now, let's follow them more closely with Bill Fleming on 15.
And as they walk up to the 15th tee, which is back in a little knoll of trees, they look out to this beautiful fairway, and this tremendous crowd has broken all existing records. Up until today, for 3 rounds, over 61,000 fans, and a good 20 to 25,000 more here today. The old record was 74,000 set last year at Olympic, and that included the playoff. It couldn't have been more electrifying, the way this lead has jockeyed back and forth, and of course with the popularity of Marty Fleckman, an amateur, leading it at 2 different stages, it really has developed into some great proportions. And now as you look back into that area, 419 yards away from the green itself, Jack Nicklaus, one of the game's greatest hitters, will try to split the middle of the fairway so that he can have about a 6-iron into the green. Byron Nelson may wish to comment on this particular swing because he can really let it out.
He really has lots of power. Watch how high his hands go. And he really moves through that, releasing his hands in the lower part of the swing.
It looks like it's gone over to the golfer's left, and it has carried the trap, which is very fortunate. And there is a case where the big hitter gets a great advantage here because one not quite as strong would be in a very difficult spot. However, that is in the rough on the left side and has carried the bunker easily by 40 yards. Might open the door a little bit for Arnold. He made a birdie here to take the lead away from Jack Nicklaus in the 2nd round. Oh, what a shot that one is. Perfect position on the right side of the fairway, and Arnold will have certainly not more than a 6-iron into this green, which is elevated as you can see. Now let's take a look in color slow motion of the swing.
Watch that clubhouse stays low of the ground as it goes back. A lot of turn to the left side, weight moves over onto the right. Left heel comes off the ground, hands real high at the top of the backswing. That's where he gets his tremendous power. Now he has large, strong legs. Watch how he uses these as he comes through, how he stays down to the ball. Head down, arms, hands releasing in the lower part of the swing. Left side moving out of the way so the hands in the club can go straight through on the line down the fairway. Real high finish because the hands have reached a high position at the top of his backswing.
Nicklaus, with rounds of 71, 67, and 72, turned the front side today in an unbelievable 31. And he now has a 5-stroke lead over Arnold Palmer, Billy Casper, and Don January. The 1967 U.S. Open Golf Championship from Baldus Roll Golf Club continues in just a moment. This is Bill Fleming reporting from the 15th at the lower course at Baldus Roll, Springfield, New Jersey, scene of the 67th United States Open Golf Championship. And we at ABC would like to express our sympathy to Julius Boros, who withdrew from this tournament today because of the death of his mother. Julius has won this tournament twice before. Now Arnold Palmer looking over his shot to the green, and Jack Nicklaus is in the rough and will shoot first. And this is where the power Byron Nelson really tells, because in this very tight rough over there that's 5 inches or so high, Nicklaus will have to come through that ball with that great strength that he has. And he's chosen his club and will hit before Arnold does. What do you imagine it is?
I would think he'd be going with an 8-iron from where he is, because the ball's going to fly a little bit out of this rough, because there must be some grass get between the face of the club and the ball. It will not, so he'd get a little fly, what we call a flying shot out of this.
He's coming up to an elevated green, and the pin position is in a good spot for him because it's on the back side, on the right side, and he has a chance to roll it up should it bounce when it hits out the front of the green. Good high shot. Tremendous divot he took. And up it comes. From there, I would say a splendid shot. It's about 30 feet from the pin. Incidentally, speaking of records, which Jim McKay was earlier with Jack Nicklaus now, if he pars out, tying the record set by Ben Hogan at 276, Nicklaus himself set the amateur record of 282 when he finished second to Arnold Palmer in 1960. And if Marty Fleckman can shoot 72 today, he would break that. So that's something to be thinking about. Oh, and it just did miss the trap on the golfer's right. He is in the little fringe there, as you can see. The little rough that's about 2 inches high, and the ball sitting up very, very well. We're proud here at ABC Sports to be bringing you both the Winter and Summer Olympic Games next year. 1968 promises to be one of the great Olympic years, and we're really looking forward to traveling to Grenoble in France in February to bring you live and in color via the satellite all the color and excitement of the Winter Olympic Games. Then in October 1968, we'll be in Mexico City, also live and in color, for the spectacular 19th Summer Olympic Games. Our coverage of the 1968 Olympics will be the most complete in the history of television, so don't forget ABC, your Olympic network in 1968. Great roar and fine applause goes up for Jack Nicklaus coming up here. He's had truly a spectacular round. He finished the front side in 31, and he's had 2 birdies here on the back 9. And big smile to the crowd here. While he's looking over his putt, let's go over to Jim McKay.
Okay, Bill, because this is Bill Casper here, and if he makes this birdie putt, he could move into undisputed possession of second place. And remember, second prize money is $15,000 here. First prize, $30,000 in the U.S. Open. Casper, the defending champion, of course, winner of the dramatic playoff with Arnold Palmer last year. About a 30-footer here. But Casper is still one of the great putters of the game. And that's long, just about like everybody else has been on this 14th hole. And Bill now needs this for a par 4. Second leading money winner of all time, just behind Arnold Palmer, just ahead of Jack Nicklaus. Bill started the day at even par. He's now 1 over, headed for a round of 71 should he par in from here. He gets the par on the 14th hole. Stays 1 over, tied with Arnold Palmer for second place. Now back to the 15th, excuse me, and Bill Fleming.
And this is Jack Nicklaus, both at long range and close up. This is about 25 or 30 footer. The pin, Byron, you were out here looked it over with us earlier. It's in a very flat spot on the green, which is an unusual thing to find on the 15th green. There's so many undulations in it.
Yes, but he has to come up over this crown a little bit before he gets there. It's a difficult putt to judge the exact distance. You can see his putter sitting right by the ball there, a white putter against a white ball. I'm sure he'd like to make it, but he wants to get real close from that distance.
Oh, fine putt. Not more than about 9 inches from the cup. He'll look it over, however, because he realizes every one of these is so important. He's 4 under par for the tournament. If he pars on out, he'd be at 276. A fine par 4 here on the difficult 15th, the second most difficult hole on the golf course. Now Arnold Palmer has a little pitch shot here. Remember, Byron, a year ago, they developed that little bump shot with the wedge because of the rough at Olympic?
I surely do. This one is just about the same thing they had there. This grass is not quite as long, but he'll have to hit down into it and kind of pop it out onto the green.
He almost sank one of these.
Notice how the firm grip he uses on this.
That's a beautiful shot. Just slides by about 2.5 feet. So this will be for his par 4. Arnold led this tournament by 1 stroke at the halfway mark. And this is the way they've done as far as one-putt holes in the tournament. Nicklaus 16, Palmer 15. And look at today, Nicklaus 7 out of 14. Boy, that's an incredible percentage. Well, when you realize that that round, Nicklaus bogeyed the second hole. He birdied 3, 4, 5, bogeyed 6, birdied 7, birdied 8. He bogeyed the 10th, and he birdied 13 and 14. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 birdies today. Arnold Palmer's been playing very steadily, and this will be for a par 4. Very little break at all. And it's a fine par 4 for Arnold Palmer. Remains 1 over par, 5 strokes off the pace. And let's go to Chris Schenkel at 18.
Thank you very much, Bill Fleming. The 18th hole from high up. One of our shots coming from a suspended camera and cameraman on a 200-foot crane moving down this fairway, which doglegs to the golfer's left from the elevated tee. It's a par 5, as Don January, who is 1 over par for the tournament. Don giving it the long look. And is on the left side of the fairway and just in the rough. On the left side of this hole, you not only have rough trees, but also water. We'll be back here in a moment. Right now, back out to Keith Jackson.
Here on the 16th, Jack Nicklaus selecting a club as we look from behind the green. They'll carry the ball tee to green on this hole, about 185 yards today. And for our friends in England and Ireland who are watching for the first time, let me say there is no fairway on this par 3 hole. As you see here, stretched to its ultimate, it's 214 yards. It's playing a little shorter than that today. Jack Nicklaus, who is the pursued at the moment, he is 4 under par through 15 holes today. He is 4 under par for the tournament, has a brilliant round of 7 birdies and 3 bogeys going. He's trying to break the U.S. Open record. He is being pursued by Arnold Palmer, Billy Casper, and Don January. And Jack Nicklaus' shot here on this par 3 is just on the front edge of the green. And Jack will have a putt of approximately 22 feet. At the hole, the ball will break a little bit from right to left. Now it's Arnold Palmer, golf's most dynamic and dramatic figure. And on this day, Arnold has not been able to mount one of his famous charges. The gallery, huge. The attendance record has been broken for a U.S. Open. For the first 3 days, 70,613. Total attendance will be probably better than 90,000 for the 4 days. Arnold Palmer's shot, he has hooked it a little bit. Hits pin high, sets quickly, rolls down into a little swale here in the green, and Arnold Palmer will be putting from about 19 feet. So he is inside of Jack Nicklaus. With a pause in the action here at Baltusrol Golf Club in Springfield, New Jersey, we'll pause for these words.
This is the 5th United States Open Championship to be contested here at Baltusrol Golf Club. The last victory by Ed Fergall in 1954. 1936 on the upper course, Tony Manero. This is the lower course. The final hole is Don January with a key shot, a wood from the rough, over water, and he is in a battle for second place, tied for it at the moment, and he just makes the rough, short of one of the fine 5 sand traps that guard this oval green. There you'll see the shot he'll have. It's in the sand trap to the left as we look on, just beyond the trap, and just into the rough.
Right, Chris. He does not have a very difficult pitch from there. The pin is placed very nicely on the green. He have about a 40-yard pitch over this trap, laying just in this 4-inch rough.
Now let's see more of this 7,015-yard course at 16, Keith Jackson.
Thank you, Chris. You're looking at Jack Nicklaus. Jack paced it off. I counted the steps. He is more like 26 feet from the hole as he paced it off. He's got to come up out of a swale, and he'll have to go up over a rather sharp break in the green, and then once the ball is up and rolling, it'll slide from right to left. It's a very slick green, but it has been a rewarding green today for the putt that is struck just right. Jack Nicklaus trying to win his second U.S. Open championship. He's got it by the hole, and the ball broke more than Jack thought it would, so it rolls by about 20 inches. He'll have a tap in here, and from where he will putt this ball, or he'll strike this putt, the ball, unless sharply struck, is liable to slide to his right. He's got some work left right here. Jack 4 under and leading the tournament. Arnold Palmer, Billy Casper, the defending champion, and Don January, all at +1 for the tournament. The leader in the clubhouse right now is Lee Trevino at 283. On our split screen, you just saw Billy Casper's 3rd shot on 15 as he chipped up near the pin. You're looking at Jack Nicklaus putting for a par 3 here at 16. And he slides it in the left side of the cup. So Jack walks away from 16. Arnold Palmer now will be putting. Jack with a par 3 here. Jack Nicklaus pars in on 17 and 18. He will equal Ben Hogan's record of 276, which is the U.S. Open record set at the Riviera Country Club in Los Angeles, California. But 17 and 18 are both par 5s, and as Byron Nelson pointed out a while ago, they're tailor-made for a big guy like Jack. Arnold Palmer, putting for a birdie.
He's still 4 under, coming to 17. Nicklaus is hitting the ball so precisely that he's backing up every iron shot. Palmer and Casper are out of it, but Arnold is still making good golf shots. That's his 3rd to the 17th. Short. Well, at least he's human. A birdie by Arnold, but too late. The 18th hole, seen from ABC's giant crane behind the green. The one thing Nicklaus wants to avoid is the water on the golfer's left. A birdie would give him that scoring record, but Jack is concerned only about winning. He's going to use an iron off the tee and aim it to the right, away from the water. That's too far right. Into the gallery. A television cable rising out of the ground and a cable reel interfere with Jack's stance and swing. They are obstructions, so Jack's entitled to a drop within 2 club lengths without penalty. The ball rolled nearer the hole, so Jack is obliged to drop again. All right, that time. An 8-iron back into the fairway, but Jack hit it fat. Out comes the 1-iron again. Up, up, and on the green. On this par 5 hole, Nicklaus has used a 1-iron, an 8-iron, and a 1-iron again. Now, the Open is won. All that remains is to learn whether Jack will tie or break Hogan's Open scoring record. 2 putts for 276, 1 putt for 275. There it is, the lowest score ever made in the United States Open Championship. What a performance today. A 65 with 8 birdies, 9 threes, and a 2 on his card. Jack receives the prize check from USGA President Ward Fauché. And then he remembers he's a father. So he gives the check to the mother, so all those lovely little children can help their daddies celebrate another happy Father's Day.